Snow hammered the mountainside like a furious drum the night Maya Roberts realized the people who claimed to be her family wanted her gone. The room they'd placed her in, thin-walled, drafty, stripped of heat, felt less like shelter and more like a sentence. She could see her own breath clouding the air as she held 7-year-old Lily against her chest, trying to warm the child with the last of her strength. The storm's roar blended with the whispers she'd overheard earlier, voices outside the door, low and certain, saying no one could survive a night like this. The truth echoed through Maya with terrifying clarity. If she stayed in that room until morning, the blizzard would do their dirty work for them. With every shiver Lily made, Maya felt her desperation sharpen into resolve. She forced herself to examine every inch of the room, every shadow, every flaw. Her numb fingers brushed the floorboards near the far corner, and one creaked lower than the others. A hollow space. A chance. Maya pressed harder, discovering the faint outline of a cut edge. A trapdoor. Her pulse spiked as she scraped away decades of dust and pried it open. A rush of frigid air met her, but beneath it lay darkness and the possibility of life. Cradling Lily close, she whispered, "Hold on, baby. We're not dying here," and climbed down into a world no one was meant to find. The hidden cellar swallowed them like a buried secret, its stone walls radiating a cold that felt ancient but survivable. Maya set Lily near a stack of old wool blankets, layering them around her like a protective nest. Before striking a match, she found near an oil lamp on a cramped wooden desk. Warm golden light flickered across shelves draped in tarps, and a massive iron safe bolted into the floor. There was a journal too, leather-bound, its edges worn soft by time. When Maya opened it, the first page trembled in her hands. Property of Edgar Roberts, May 1958. If you found this place, you were meant to. Page after page revealed inventories, sketches, accounts, and secrets of a man who'd quietly amassed a collection worth $234 million. $70 5 pieces hidden from family members obsessed with status and control. Stamps, rare paintings, ancient coins, instruments worth more than houses. And he had documented everything for someone worthy enough to discover it. Maya stared at the shelves, realizing she was sitting in a private vault her in-laws never knew existed, one connected to the same family who'd locked her in a freezing room above. As the storm screamed overhead, she wrapped her daughter in blankets and lay beside her, the glow of the oil lamp dancing against stone. In that silence, she understood something vital. The cellar wasn't just a shelter. It was a lifeline. A promise that she and Lily were not meant to die that night, but to rise. By morning, the storm had eased enough for the world to reappear in muted gray tones, and Maya moved through the cellar with sharper purpose. She searched every shelf, photographing inventories, documenting values, capturing evidence that would expose the Roberts family's desperation and cruelty. She found a second exit, a narrow stone tunnel leading to a root cellar 100 yards from the main house, concealed beneath layers of snow. With Lily bundled in layers of blankets and old jackets left behind by Edgar, Maya pushed through the tunnel, emerging into the icy silence of the forest. She carried an item Edgar himself had catalogued as priceless. The British Guiana 1-cent magenta stamp, bundled safely in its climate-controlled casing. It wasn't greed that made her take it. It was leverage, the proof she needed to survive the battle ahead. Hours later, she walked through the doors of the sheriff's station, frostbitten but alive, carrying evidence and a daughter who refused to let go of her hand. Sheriff Atrix listened to every word, his jaw hardening as the truth unfolded. The cellar, the freezing room, the voices, the will, the attempted murder hidden beneath claims of hospitality. "They think you're dead," he muttered. "Then we'll let them be surprised." For the first time in days, Maya felt heat beyond the oil lamp, justice warming its way toward her. While Lily colored quietly in the corner with a deputy's crayons, Maya knew the real storm was only beginning, but at least now she had the strength to face it. The courtroom felt colder than the cellar ever had, though Maya stood in a tailored navy suit instead of borrowed blankets. Reporters crowded the hallways, drawn by the story of a single mother who'd survived a blizzard, uncovered a hidden fortune, and faced down a wealthy mountain family accused of leaving her and her child to die. District Attorney Rebecca Chen delivered the opening statement with the precision of a blade, revealing temperatures that had dropped to 12 degrees F, and expert testimony, proving the room Maya was locked in was impossible to survive overnight. One engineer stated plainly, "A child would lose consciousness in hours. Death follows soon after." Richard, Patricia, and Marcus Roberts sat at the defense table looking smaller than Maya had ever seen them, wealthy, polished, but collapsing under the weight of consequences they had long believed themselves immune to. Their attorney insisted Maya was motivated by inheritance, but the evidence crushed his claims. Edgar's notarized letter leaving the collection to its discoverer, photographs of the cellar, time-stamped images of the freezing room, and the priceless artifacts Edgar had preserved. When Dr. Helena Strauss from the Smithsonian confirmed the authenticity of the $12 million stamp, the courtroom gasped. By the time the jury delivered their verdict, guilty on all major charges, the Roberts family's empire had crumbled. Yet Maya felt no triumph, only a deep, steady release, like a woman finally breathing after years underwater. She wasn't fighting for revenge. She was fighting for the life she and Lily deserved. When the civil case settled, Lawrence Chen arrived at Maya's modest rental carrying documents that would change everything. The judge ruled Edgar's collection legally hers. Every stamp, every painting, every coin, totaling $234,783,000 in appraised historical value. Lily, wide-eyed at the news, asked only one question. "Mama, can we get a puppy now?" Maya laughed for the first time in months, real laughter, the kind that cracks something open and lets light in. What followed was a whirlwind of cataloging, authentication, and decisions Maya never imagined making. Experts confirmed a Stradivarius violin worth $18 million, a Hopper painting valued at $15 million, and rare stamps from Sweden, Hawaii, and Mauritius that collectors had spent lifetimes dreaming of. But Maya refused to become what the Roberts family had been. She donated the British Guiana stamp to the Smithsonian, ensuring it would be preserved and accessible to generations. She loaned the violin to a prodigy from Detroit, insisting it should be played, not locked away. Museums received paintings, universities acquired first editions, and historical societies were entrusted with coins. But Maya kept a few pieces: Edgar's mountain landscape painting, a copy of The Great Gatsby, and several gold coins that felt more like memories than wealth. Each decision honored Edgar's intentions. Beauty belonged to the world, not to vaults. As she stood in her new home, watching Lily dance with the family's new puppy, Maya felt herself stepping into a life that finally fit. The transformation of her life wasn't measured in dollars, but in purpose. Maya established the Edgar Roberts Legacy Foundation, using strategic sales from lesser-known works to fund scholarships, women's programs, and community arts initiatives. She became a speaker almost by accident, first at women's shelters, then at community colleges, until her TEDx talk went viral and invitations flooded in from across the country. She told audiences the same thing she told herself in that cellar. Survival is not weakness, it's evidence of strength. At the National Women's Conference in Chicago, she stood before 2,000 women and spoke about the night she heard voices outside her locked door, the night she realized no one was coming to save her. "I learned," she said, "that strength isn't something you wait to feel, it's something you decide to be." When applause thundered through the auditorium, she felt Edgar's spirit somewhere in the back, nodding softly. Email after email reached her from women who felt dismissed, undervalued, trapped in circumstances someone else chose for them. She answered every message she could, offering resources, hope, and the reminder that worth is not assigned by others, it's claimed by choosing to rise. And through it all, Lily grew taller, braver, more aware of the world her mother had protected her from. One night on a flight home, Lily asked, "Mama, do you ever get tired of telling it?" Maya smiled gently. "No, baby. Because every time I do, someone remembers they can survive their own storm." 3 years after the blizzard, the mountain house, the place that nearly became their grave, was auctioned by the state. Maya surprised even herself when she raised her paddle and bought it for $600,000. When Lawrence asked why she'd want to own the place where she almost died, she answered simply, "Because it won't be remembered for death anymore." 6 months later, the old mansion reopened as the Edgar Roberts Sanctuary, a retreat for survivors of domestic violence and family abuse. The once icy, locked room was transformed into a warm library filled with soft chairs and bright lamps. The cellar, preserved under protective glass, became a small museum telling Edgar's story beside Maya's, a testament to resilience built beneath crushing cold. At the opening ceremony, surrounded by survivors, advocates, and supporters, Maya said, "We take the places that tried to break us and turn them into places that help others heal." Sheriff A. Trix attended, older now but still protective, and whispered, "You took something terrible and made it beautiful." As the first residents arrived, women clutching children and hope in equal measure, Maya felt the magnitude of what she had built. The house that once echoed with danger now rang with the sound of new beginnings. In its hallways, warmth replaced fear and purpose replaced pain. And Lily, older, wiser, ran ahead through the sanctuary's halls, laughing freely, proving that healing could echo louder than any storm. On quiet nights, after Lily was asleep and the sanctuary lights dimmed, Maya sometimes walked alone through the restored corridors, remembering each step that had led her there. The freezing room, the desperate search for warmth, the hidden cellar with its $234 million secret, the courtroom that finally leveled the ground beneath the Roberts family's feet. She remembered how small she had once felt, how disposable they believed she was. Yet here she stood, not shaped by their cruelty, but forged by her own resilience. She learned that strength doesn't always look like victory. Sometimes it looks like a mother wrapping her child in blankets and promising to survive. Sometimes it looks like opening a trapdoor no one else knew existed. And sometimes it looks like choosing to build